Zainab and Malik were the kind of couple people talked about, in a good way. In Abuja's social circles, they were the picture of love and partnership. He was charming and always by her side at events, holding her hand, whispering sweet things, calling her his queen. Zainab felt lucky. She was building her digital agency from scratch, and Malik always said he was proud of her. He didn't have a job at the time, but he assured her he was just figuring things out and would support her any way he could. First, she believed him. He made breakfast some mornings, picked her up when her car had issues, cheered her on during late-night deadlines. When she stressed about clients, he'd say, "I'm here for you, only you." And for a while that was enough. But slowly little cracks began to show. Zainab noticed that her best friend, Amaka, was suddenly different. She wore new clothes, designer bags Zainab had never seen before. She kept smiling at her phone and hiding it quickly when asked about it. Meanwhile, Malik had become oddly secretive too. Always on his phone, even in the bathroom, always with a password, always quick to change the topic. Zainab wanted to believe it was all in her head. But deep down she knew. Something was off. Something wasn't right. And as much as she didn't want to admit it, the two people she trusted most, Malik and Amaka, were starting to act like they were hiding something. She felt it in her gut. But she said nothing. Not yet. Zainab couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Amaka, her best friend since university, was suddenly glowing in a way that didn't feel normal. She started showing up with new designer bags, not knockoffs, the real deal. One day it was a Louis Vuitton tote, another day a Fendi clutch. And the thing was, Zainab knew Amaka's salary. They talked about money all the time. She definitely couldn't afford all that on her own. At the same time, Malik started acting weird too. He used to leave his phone lying around carelessly, but now, that phone was like his baby. He carried it into the bathroom, slept with it under his pillow. Anytime Zainab reached for it, even casually, he would panic a little. "Why do you need my phone?" he'd ask with a fake laugh. One evening, Zainab was sitting in her home office, trying to finish a proposal, when she heard giggling from the living room. Amaka had come over to hang out, like old times. But now she was on a call and she didn't know Zainab could hear her. "You're so generous, baby," Amaka whispered, her voice low and sweet, followed by another giggle. "No one's ever spoiled me like this." Zainab froze. Her heart dropped. She didn't want to believe it, but her brain started connecting the dots on its own. The bags, the secretive phone behavior, the distance that had been growing between all three of them. She didn't say anything. She just walked into the kitchen, smiling tightly like nothing had happened. But in her chest, something had cracked. The betrayal wasn't confirmed, not yet. But the suspicion had been planted. And from that moment on, everything Amaka and Malik did felt like a clue. Zainab wasn't just heartbroken. She was confused, angry, hurt. But most of all, she was determined to find out the truth, no matter how much it might break her. That night, Zainab couldn't sleep. Her mind was racing. The call, the bags, Malik's strange behavior. It was all swirling in her head like a storm. She needed answers. Real proof. Not just gut feelings. Malik was fast asleep beside her, snoring softly. His phone, for once, wasn't clutched in his hand or hidden under his pillow. It was right there on the nightstand. Her heart pounded as she picked it up, trying to stay calm. She wasn't even sure what she was looking for. Maybe a message, maybe a picture. But then she opened his mobile money app almost on instinct. He never let her near it before. What she saw made her stomach turn. There were multiple money transfers. Not just one or two, many. Each labeled with little notes. "For you, babe, red heart. You deserve it, queen kiss mark. Can't wait to see you face blowing a kiss." And the recipient? Amaka, her best friend. Zainab's hands started shaking as she scrolled through the history. Over 500,000 naira had been sent in the last 2 months. Hair money, bag money, random just because money. All from Malik. The same Malik who kept saying he was broke. The same Malik she'd been helping, feeding, supporting, loving. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Not yet. Her heart felt heavy, like something had died inside her. A kind of pain that words couldn't fully explain. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was who betrayed her. The two people she trusted most. She stared at the screen for a long time, barely breathing, reading the messages over and over like maybe, just maybe, it would all disappear if she blinked hard enough. But it was real. It was all real. Quietly, she placed the phone back and lay beside him. He didn't stir. Still asleep. Still lying. Zainab didn't sleep that night. She just stared at the ceiling, her heart breaking quietly in the dark. Something inside her shifted. She knew this wasn't just heartbreak. This was war. And she was done playing nice. Zainab didn't scream. She didn't cry in front of him. She didn't even ask why. Instead, she smiled like nothing had changed. But everything had. In her heart, something had snapped, not just from pain, but from clarity. She realized that neither Malik nor Amaka deserved her tears. They weren't worth her breaking down. So she decided right then, no confrontation. Not yet. This wasn't going to be an emotional outburst. It was going to be a calculated response. The next morning, while Malik made his usual lazy jokes and sipped the tea she brewed, Zainab started collecting evidence. Quietly, carefully, she took screenshots of all the transfers, including the sweet little notes he'd added. Every babe red heart and queen kiss mark went straight into a secret folder on her laptop, dated, time-stamped, backed up. She started keeping notes too. Every lie he told. Every excuse. Every moment he claimed he was just tired or busy job hunting. She watched him closely but never let him see her watching. And then came Amaka. Zainab invited her for lunch, acting like the best friend she used to be. She chose a quiet, cozy spot and dressed like it was just another casual catch-up. Amaka came, smiling, laughing, even complimenting Zainab's earrings like everything was normal. But what Amaka didn't know was that Zainab had a tiny voice recorder tucked in her purse and a second one taped under the table. She asked gentle questions. How's life been lately? Anyone special in your life? Amaka talked freely, unaware she was being recorded, her lies flowing as smoothly as her wine. Zainab sat there, nodding, pretending to believe every word. But deep inside, she was building her case brick by brick. This wasn't about love anymore. Loyalty? Gone. Now it was about control. About power. Zainab wasn't going to let them break her. She was going to rise with receipts, with grace, and with a plan. They thought she didn't know. They had no idea who they were messing with. Zainab didn't just sit and cry after the betrayal, no. She transformed her pain into power. The very next week she changed everything. New hair, fresh wardrobe, glowing skin. She booked a photo shoot for herself and rebranded her business with a stronger, bolder vibe. No more soft looks. She wanted to show the world, and them, that she was unstoppable. If they thought they broke her, they hadn't even seen what she was capable of. She started moving differently too. Attending exclusive networking events. Building connections with powerful people in the media and business world. Every handshake was intentional. Every conversation had purpose. She wasn't just trying to survive. She was planning to shine louder than ever before. Then she did something smart. She posted a job opening for a PR intern. But when she interviewed the applicants, she chose one with a little secret edge. Her name was Remy, a final-year mass comm student who also happened to run a fast-growing gossip blog on Instagram and TikTok. The kind of blog that had real followers, real reach, and the ability to make anything go viral in hours. Zainab didn't tell Remy the full story at first. She just said, "There may come a time I need a message pushed out fast and loud. Think you can handle it?" Remy smiled and replied, "Just say the word." Zainab began putting the pieces together, organizing screenshots, audio recordings, timestamps, everything. It wasn't just about Malik's betrayal or Amaka's lies. It was about exposing two-faced people who thought they could play her. But she didn't want it rushed. This had to be perfect. The timing had to hit just right. She wanted the world to see it, feel it, talk about it. So she waited and planned. She smiled more, posted more, acted unbothered. Malik kept living in his little bubble, thinking he'd gotten away with it. Amaka? Still showing up to brunch like nothing had happened. But Zainab wasn't silent because she was weak. She was silent because Zainab couldn't believe her ears when Malik told her the plan. "A surprise joint birthday party," he said with a smile. "For you and Amaka." She blinked. "Amaka?" "Yeah," he laughed. "You're both my favorite girls. It'll be fun." That moment told her everything she needed to know. He didn't even bother hiding it anymore. The disrespect was loud. The betrayal was bold. But Zainab? She didn't flinch. She smiled sweetly and said, "That sounds amazing, babe." Inside, though, she already knew this was the moment she'd been waiting for. On the night of the party, the venue was packed. Friends, family, work colleagues. Balloons everywhere, music blasting, camera phones out. Malik looked proud, walking around like a king. Amaka arrived in a glittery dress, acting innocent, laughing loudly, waving at guests like she owned the night. Then Zainab walked in. She wore a red power dress, bold, fitted, stunning. Heads turned. She looked like a woman on a mission. She smiled, hugged guests, danced a little, took photos. But she kept watching the clock. At 9 p.m. sharp, she walked up to the DJ booth and whispered something in his ear. He nodded and adjusted the mic. The music faded. The crowd got quiet. Then it started playing. A recording. Amaka's voice came through the speakers, clear and loud. "You're so generous, baby. No one's ever spoiled me like this." Gasps filled the room. People started looking around. Whispers started. Some guests pulled out their phones to record. Zainab stepped up, calm and powerful. She took the mic and said, "Since we're celebrating, I thought it was the perfect time to share a special memory of how my boyfriend and my best friend have been celebrating behind my back." The second recording played, Amaka laughing, flirting, hinting about the money. Zainab pulled out a flash drive, handed it to the DJ. "There's more." Screenshots, transfers, over $500K worth of love notes. The projector lit up. The crowd exploded. The room went silent after the first recording played. You could feel the tension in the air like electricity. Everyone stood still, shocked, confused, curious. Then came the second voice note. Amaka again, giggling and sweet-talking like Zainab wasn't even in the picture. Guests gasped. Some covered their mouths. A few turned their heads slowly toward Malik and Amaka. Amaka looked like she had seen a ghost. Her smile disappeared. Her hands started shaking as she stood there, frozen in her sparkly dress. Malik's face twisted into panic. He rushed toward the DJ, trying to stop the music, but someone pulled the mic away just in time and handed it to Zainab. She stepped forward, heels clicking on the stage, head held high. Calm. Composed. Untouchable. "He promised me loyalty," she said, her voice steady but strong, but instead, he was investing in betrayal. Gasps filled the room again. Malik opened his mouth to speak, but she shut him down with a single wave of her hand. "Don't even try it." Then the lights dimmed and the projector screen came to life. Screenshot after screenshot. Bank transfers. Love notes. Pet names. Even a photo of a designer bag with the message, "You deserve the world, babe, red heart." Zainab let the crowd take it all in. People started recording with their phones. Some whispered, others laughed in disbelief. A few guests shook their heads and walked away from Malik and Amaka in disgust. It wasn't just a scene. It was a moment. In less than an hour, the video started flooding TikTok and Instagram. Clips of the recording. Reactions. The projector. Zainab's powerful speech. Comments poured in. "This is how you take your power back." She exposed them with grace and style. Justice in red heels. Malik stood there defeated. Amaka's eyes were red, her hands covering her face. But Zainab? She walked off that stage like a queen. No tears. No regrets. Just a quiet, fierce confidence. She didn't just end a relationship that night. The days after the party were a storm. But Zainab was the calm in the center of it. Malik's phone didn't stop buzzing. Not with support, with shame. Friends stopped returning his calls. Business contacts pulled away. Even the investor Zainab had introduced him to, the one she was helping him pitch to, backed out completely. The loan he'd been waiting on? Gone. No one wanted to fund a man whose name was trending under #Betrayal in Abuja. As for Amaka, the fall was loud. Brands she worked with started dropping her, one after the other. Her influencer deals vanished. Her followers were commenting things like homewrecker and designer. And you're brave enough to betray, be brave enough to log out. She tried to post a clarification video, crying, blaming editing, saying it was taken out of context, but no one was buying it. Meanwhile, Zainab was rising. Fast. Within 48 hours, she got a DM from the producers of Women Who Win, a top podcast featuring strong African women breaking barriers. "We'd love to hear your story," they wrote. She agreed. The interview went viral. She didn't cry. She didn't bash. She told her story with grace, truth, and strength. She spoke for every woman who's ever been lied to, betrayed, or made to feel small, and people listened. "You're not broken," she said in the podcast. "You're just being built stronger." Her inbox exploded. Brands reached out, fashion, tech, beauty, wellness. "We love your courage." Your strength is magnetic. Can we collaborate? What Malik and Amaka thought would destroy her had become her spotlight. Zainab didn't chase revenge. She chose the truth. And the truth lit a fire that made her unstoppable. She was no longer just the it girl in Abuja. She was a movement, a voice, a woman who chose herself and won. Months passed, but Zainab didn't just move on, she moved up. The noise from the betrayal slowly faded, but her glow only got louder. She didn't just rebuild her life, she rebuilt it with purpose. After sharing her story on the podcast, so many women reached out. Some were heartbroken, some angry, some just tired of feeling small. Zainab saw herself in their messages and knew she had to do something. So she launched Rebuild Her, a mentorship program for women who had been betrayed, blindsided, or broken by people they trusted. It wasn't just about healing hearts, it was about helping women rise again, emotionally and financially. Coaching sessions, digital business classes, self-worth workshops. Within weeks, the program had a waitlist. Women from across Nigeria signed up. Zainab was giving back, but she was also glowing like never before. Her business tripled. She bought a sleek new black SUV, cash. She began flying out for conferences in Nairobi, London, and Cape Town. Each trip came with a fresh set of photos, her standing tall in airports, laughing at rooftop dinners, or speaking on panels with other powerhouse women. And then came that feature. Forbes Africa Women. Full spread. Big headline. Zainab, from betrayal to billionaire vision. The comments were full of fire emojis in praise. People who once gossiped were now clapping. Even strangers called her an inspiration. Oh, and yes, she was dating again. This time? A Lagos-based tech investor. Quiet, kind, emotionally intelligent. He respected her hustle and didn't feel threatened by her shine. He flew in for her birthday, showed up for her mentorship events, and never once made her question her worth. Then one morning as she sat by her floor-to-ceiling windows, sipping coffee and reviewing emails, she saw it. From malik.adams@gmail.com. Subject, I'm sorry. Please read. She smiled. Just a soft, knowing smile. She didn't open it. She didn't need to. It was a quiet Tuesday morning when Zainab walked into the co-working space. Heels clicking, confidence glowing. The receptionist looked up from his desk. His eyes widened. It was Malik. Yes, that Malik, now working behind the front desk of the same space she had just bought. Months ago, he thought he could play her. Now she owned the building he worked in. Zainab didn't flinch. She walked in slowly, gracefully, like she had all the time in the world. Their eyes met. He stood up, unsure if he should speak. His mouth opened a little, but no words came out. She walked right up to the desk, calm and composed. With the softest smile, she looked him dead in the eye and said, "Thank you for the betrayal. It made me unstoppable." He blinked, stunned. She didn't wait for a reply. She turned, nodded at the new community manager, and headed up to the private office suite with her name already on the door. That moment was quiet, but powerful. She didn't need to raise her voice. Her presence said it all. The girl who once cried in silence had become the woman who now owned the room. As she stepped into her new office, sunlight pouring through the windows, she sat down and opened her laptop. Ready to lead, ready to build, ready to keep winning. And if this was a movie, this would be the final line in her voiceover. He promised me loyalty, but I gave myself power.